Hey, thanks for watching today. We're going to cover something a little different than usual. We're going to cover really just one inventory inside of one market in the state of Tennessee. Instead of trying to cover a lot of ground, we're just going to deep dive into one called the Shelby County Land Bank. And this is in Memphis, Tennessee, Shelby County. And basically, they have recently had some big announcements and added new properties. And I want to go over that with you and then show you how to do research on their website. And then if you want to do some advanced research, I'm going to use a tool called Parcel Fair and show you how to go even deeper. So let's get started. So from the beginning, what is the Shelby Land Bank? And similar to other land banks in other states, the Shelby County Land Bank in Tennessee is just an organization that takes tax delinquent property and sells it at a discount. In this case, the properties were actually delinquent for many years. They have accrued a large delinquent tax bill of multiple years, which we can show you how to see that in a minute. Also worth noting, these did go to a tax auction, or at least one, maybe multiple over the years, and nobody bought them. So they've cleared auction, and now land banks in general, what they do, instead of, I guess in contrast to buying a tax lien or a tax deed in different states, you may have lengthy redemption periods that can take years and interest rates that may accrue as well in your benefit. But a land bank really just cuts to the chase and tries to get you the property, usually clear title or at least a quiet title or quit claim, some type of deed that clears that redemption out for you so you can get hands on the property quicker. So in this case, the Shelby Land Bank, and actually a few months ago in fall of 22, they closed down for several months. This is not at all uncommon in our experience for land banks to close down. Sometimes it's because they're adding properties in like hundreds at a time in batch. It could be that they're catching up on a backlog of applications because they can get inundated with lots of demand from investors. And in some cases too, they may update their software, update the website, or get a new process in place that will help them handle the higher volume. So the good news is the Shelby County Land Bank reopened the first week of 2023. And we have found that in this case, the Shelby Land Bank not only added properties, but they also updated their software and website into a new system that works even better than before. And this new website, it featured about 1,720 properties, and more than 500 of those were newly added during the website update. So you've got a nice chunk of new properties that have only been on the market here for a few days at this point. And so we'll show you the website in a moment, but let's talk about what they sell. Again, it's the tax delinquent property within Shelby County, Tennessee, and that is really Memphis, Tennessee properties that are so delinquent that they are now available through a land bank. Let me back up a step here. Land banks in general are a little bit different than if you were buying from, for instance, the state. Like in Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, states like that, you can buy what we call over-the-counter tax deeds from the state, and you're buying at the state level, which is sort of an umbrella without as much local interest as maybe like the city or the county has a much stronger interest in getting that revenue recovered for local projects, and frankly combating blight and getting good tax-paying residents back into the city or the county. So it's very localized. Land banks are typically have that interest, they're sort of a special interest for their locality or their city, their county, and are trying to recover lost revenue from taxes. So in this case, our locality is Shelby County, again, Memphis, Tennessee. When you're trying to buy, what they do is they have an application process that requires you to apply online, and then an approval step. And after you get past the application and then the approval, other investors can also bid on the property. And the way this works is if other bids are received, a bid-off auction quickly determines who's going to purchase the property. And so at the end of that sale process, the land bank will issue a quitclaim deed to the purchaser. So we're going to show you how it works screen here in a moment too. All right, so let's jump straight over to the live demo. And we're going to start again on the Shelby Land Bank website. I will put this URL, this web location, in the YouTube comments so you can have a link to it. But there's some great information on this site if you're interested in getting started here. We won't go over everything, but just suffice it to say there's a how it works page, and this takes those steps that I just outlined for you, and you can read them closer here. As well as, let's see, we have resources. This takes you to similar websites that will help you research the properties further. And let's go back to the homepage. And we also, earlier I saw a video on here. Now I don't see it anymore. But as you're clicking through the site, there are resources to help you work through the process. And if you actually click on the properties for sale, you will see this map, and it's pretty useful. A lot of land banks use the same looking software, very similar platform to what you see here. And what you see are dots. Let's scroll to zoom. You see dots on the map, and those are these properties that you also see on the right-hand side, all over the city, just sort of scattered around, to give you an idea where those properties are. And on the right side, you see properties in this list here. Not a ton of information. We can see the asking price is $300, but let's open up the first property. There's no photos. You can tell a little bit. It says landlocked. A lot of TBDs on the address in some of these places, so not a lot to go on. And they do have links that take you to, it'll take you to the Register of Deeds, and it'll take you to the property details on the assessor. They don't really have their links worked out yet, so a lot of these, they don't take you to the property. They just take you either to search or to that error page, unfortunately. But maybe they'll get that together soon. You can apply for that property, but it will require a login. So you can create a free login here as well, so you can start applying for properties. And you can actually click this heart and save the property to your favorites. So again, you use this map right here. I'm going to click back. You can search for properties, sort, and you kind of the only thing is I would say that you have to know what you're looking for if you use their search. There's not a great, it's not the best experience because a lot of this data is missing. They don't have like the valuations, and a lot of that data is just kind of holes in the system. So if you want to do more advanced searching, I'm going to show you now jumping over to a different website called parcelfair.com, which is what this entire YouTube channel is about. And if you're not familiar with parcelfair.com, our goal is to expose you to as many of these hidden markets in as many states as we can find, and we're constantly adding properties and inventories and markets so you can see them all in one place. Tennessee is one of our newer states that we offer. During the height of auction season, you'll see more counties available, but right now in the early part of the year, it's pretty sparse. We have the Shelby County Land Bank that you're looking at in a second, and we have Knox County, which has, right now they're in an upset bid or rebid auction, so there's some properties there to see as well. But I'm going to click on Shelby, and if you wanted to do some filters, you could, but let's just start off by looking at all of those properties on the map. And what we're doing here, it's not that much different than the other website, except we do have the outlines of the properties from the county's GIS data that we purchased this and loaded into our site so you can have access to it. Let's see, I can flip over here and get a better contrast if we look at this kind of blank map. And so you can actually get an idea of what the lot lines look like and the building outlines on the lots. So that's kind of useful to get that bird's eye view and see what you're looking at there. Let's pretend that we want to really narrow down and say, let's just look at buildings and improvements. Only lots that have improvements, some kind of structure on there. And we'll skip over and say, I want my total valuation to be at least $15,000. That's the county valuations. Let's go with that. Let's say we don't care about acres or the rest of this, but let's just filter down, really get down to some of the nicer parcels here. We have 130 showing up now. And you can see on the map, these are now showing. They're also showing on the right-hand side with the Google Street View, free to view. And you can also, if you want to see them if you're not a map person, you can actually click on view results in a grid or download them to a spreadsheet, but let's just show you the grid first. And so now we're just seeing them in a different view, all in one place. This is really useful if you want to sort by the total value. You see the most expensive properties up top, or the buildings. You can sort by the year of the tax delinquency or the sale. So that can be a useful thing to do. And then let's just take a look at some of those properties and just give you a peek at what's in this new inventory that just re-released in 2023. First up, I've pulled up it says tax deed. It's really, again, it's actually offered through the land bank, but it's a 2020 tax sale. And you can see it's a vacant property that may need some work, as most of these do. 1,000 square feet. It's 2-1 bed bath. And we have the owner information, the property address. I'll walk you through one other thing that's really important here. The purchase option that shows apply online, Shelby TN Land Bank. We actually have in Parcel Fair, no matter who you're buying from, which inventory, which market, which state, we will walk you through the instructions like this to show you how to apply for the property. In this case, we can't sell you the property. We don't own it. So we actually take you right back to their website. We're essentially, we know the property's in the inventory, and we just take you back and link you back to the land bank to do your business here. And you can apply for the property using this green button on the top right, just like our instructions said. So again, we're really just showing you enhanced data about this property that are from different sources, like the GIS mapping outlines and the assessment valuations. And I do want to point out that we have some deep links into county, city, and state resources here where, for instance, you can click on the tax assessor details for this property and it takes you directly to this property without having to do any additional searching or do anything else. We're going to get you as close as we can to the source of this information. The same thing for the GIS. We actually load the GIS map for the county, and this probably looks familiar. It's the same property we just showed you on Parcel Fair, just a different county office and how they look at it. Also, the property tax payoffs, we can take that. Yep, it works. And you can look at some of the history of the property taxes here. And let's see. The county trustee legal description. This is another useful thing for looking at the parcel's details, especially if you're going to compare it and make sure it's you're buying what you think you're buying. This is very important. So all of that information on this one report screen, plus we take you where you can buy the property. And hey, you know what? You can actually click this panorama view and get a look around the neighborhood. This is useful if you want to see what type of houses are around. This actually looks like a nice neighborhood where people are taking care of things. So this particular house might fit in well if you were to do some rehab on it and maybe move into it. I don't know. It depends on what you want to do. And I would say, as I should always say this, I try to, is this Google Street View should not replace putting actual eyes on the property. Obviously, this is not a live video feed. Since this photo was taken, this tree limb right here may have fallen on the house. It could have burned down. It could have had the copper could be stripped with the windows missing. There's all sorts of things that could happen. So before you write a check for any of these properties, highly recommend getting recent photos or just putting your own eyes on the property if at all possible. So we just went through that property in depth. I'll just show you a few more. Very similar. This is a 2019 deed. And basically the same links here on the right. You have a satellite view just to show you there's some industrial properties in the mix. Actually, here's just another industrial property in the mix. This one's larger, worth a lot more money. So there's some very expensive deals available, like this one. And we'll just show you one more. This is a nice looking residential house with, again, it's really rinse and repeat all the same information that we've been showing you, 1,800 square feet, 3-1 beds and baths. And I guess I'll point out one last thing. If you wanted to, you could actually add some notes to this property just for your own tracking information. You could add it to a list if you want to hang on to it for later. We try to help you with your research, organizing it so you can make sense of this later on. So again, that's a really fast overview of what Parcel Fair can do for you if you want to shop with the Shelby County Land Bank. And again, we have many states, many markets that you can choose from. right now, just scratching the surface, these are the states that are active right now. Many counties inside of each of those states, land banks, auctions, just a lot of different places to explore. So I wish you best of luck in 2023, especially if you're new to this, and encourage you to look at some of our other videos. We cover a lot of markets and a lot of new features as they come out. And I hope this was useful, and have a great day.